This is the oracle about Damascus. Look, Damascus is no longer a city. It is a heap of ruins. The cities of Aurora are abandoned. They will be used for herds, which will lie down there in peace. Fortified cities will disappear from Ephraim, and Damascus will lose its kingdom. The survivors in Syria will end up like the splendor of the Israelites, says the Lord of heaven's armies. At that time, Jacob's splendor will be greatly diminished, and he will become skin and bones. It will be as when one gathers the grain harvest, and his head gleans the ears of grain. It will be like one gathering the ear of grain in the valley of Ephraim. There will be some left behind, and when an olive tree is beaten, 2 or 3 ripe olives remain toward the very top, 4 or 5 of its fruitful branches, says the Lord God of Israel. At that time, men will trust in their Creator. They will depend on the Holy One of Israel. They will no longer trust in the altars their hands made, or depend on the Asherah pole and the incense altars their fingers made. At that time, their fortified cities will be like the abandoned summits of the Amorites, which they abandoned because of the Israelites. There will be desolation, for you ignore the God who rescues you. You pay no attention to your strong protector. So this is what happens. You cultivate beautiful plants and plants exotic vines. The day you begin cultivating, you do what you can to make it grow. The morning you begin planting, you do what you can to make it sprout. Yet the harvest will disappear in the day of disease and incurable pain. Beware, you many nations massing together, those who make a commotion as loud as the roaring of the sea waves. Beware, you people making such an uproar, those who make an uproar as loud as the roaring of the powerful waves. Though these people make an uproar as loud as the roaring of powerful waves, when he shouts at them, they will flee to the distance, driving before the wind like dead weeds on the hills, or like dead thistle before the strong gale. In the evening, there is sudden terror. By morning, they vanish. This is the fate of those who try to plunder us, the destiny of those who try to loot us. Bum, bum, bum. Oh, we got some cookies being passed around. That sounds fun. Anything in chat? Got some hugs. Love those. You can create markers too. Oh, yes. By using the Stream Deck, yes. But those markers, I think, only work if you're doing it in Twitch. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe they show up when I put it in other platforms too. One of the things I'm using as a marker is saying the chapter title. And I noticed when I did Job yesterday and I went to edit it, a couple of times I did not actually say the chapter title. And boy, it was hard to find some of the chapter starts there as we went along. So, like I said, this is the first time I'm trying the pause button. We'll see how this works out. But hopefully it works good. All right, so this is the oracle about Damascus. So we are now turning to the north. So as we have gone through, we started with Babylon. We have gone around the other nations, and we're still going around. So now we're going to Damascus. So the oracle is going against Damascus. Damascus is the kingdom that came, the Assyrians came, and they conquered the northern kingdom. And now Damascus is no longer a city. It's a heap of ruins. They have been destroyed. They are going to be destroyed. And they are intermingled with the northern kingdom. So as we go through here, and we're talking about it, the fortified cities have disappeared in Ephraim and in Damascus. Damascus will lose its kingdom. The survivors in Syria, and I always mix up Assyria and Syria. It's Syria, not Assyria. Syria are here. So what they have taken is going to be a remnant there. So intermingled with the northern the northern kingdom is going to get some relief here when Syria is going to be destroyed. So the survivors in Syria will end up like the splendor of the Israelites. So says the Lord, at that time, Jacob's splendor will be greatly diminished. So you're going to end up in Syria like them. You're going to be a remnant. That's it. The splendor is going to be destroyed. It's going to be destroyed just like it was everyone else. You're going to be skin and bones. You're going to be gathering the grain harvest and gleaning the ears, and like one who leaves ears in the valley. So basically he's saying is like, when you go and you gather grain and there's just a few stalks you missed, that's how many people are going to remain. When you go and you beat the trees to get the olive trees and there's just a few olives left, that's what it's going to be like. Syria is going to be wiped out. Damascus is going to be wiped out. There is just going to be a small remnant, and Ephraim is intermingled within there. So the remnant of Ephraim is going to be there in that time. At that time, men will trust in their Creator. They will depend on the Holy One of Israel. They will no longer trust in the altars of the hand. So when that time comes, they will finally trust in God. They're going to get rid of the Asherah poles. They're going to get rid of the incense. They're going to get rid of the fortified cities. They're going to abandon the summits where they went and worshiped other gods, which they abandoned because of the Israelites. There will be desolation, for you ignored the God who rescued you. You paid no attention to the strong protector. So I think it is just the remnant who is turning to God, not everyone. You cultivate beautiful plants. You're going to try to cultivate these plants, exotic plants. You're going to be cultivating them. They're going to grow. They're going to sprout. And they're going to disappear because of disease and incurable pain. So all your efforts are going to be futile. Beware. I love doing the beware, you nations massing together. Beware, you people making such an uproar. You're making an uproar over what's happening to you, but you're not going to be listened to because of your uproar. You're going to be blown away like the wind in the evening. Suddenly terror is going to come. You're going to vanish. This is your fate for those who try to plunder us, the destiny of those who try to loot us, those who did wrong. Those who live by the sword are going to die by the sword. You're coming against us. You're going to get it. Sorry, bye-bye now. But Northern Kingdom, who is in there intermingled, will be a remnant in their midst. So